My name is Katie. I'm on the product marketing team, and I work closely with our customers to get feedback on Houzz Pro and understand how you're using the platform, and then also work closely with our product and engineering teams to make sure that we're building the right products for our customers. So I know I've spoken with some of you before, and thanks again for joining. Chloe, do you want to do an introduction?
Yeah, thank you so much. I see some familiar names that are joining. So thank you so much for coming and taking time out of your day. But yes, my name is Chloe. I am from Orange County, California. So saw a couple neighbors of mine that were chiming in the chat. So happy to have you guys from all over the place. But I have been at Houzz for about 10 years, which is wild. But so excited to chat with you and show you all that we have to offer. I know many of you have probably been with us for a long time or just getting started. So hopefully this is helpful for all of you, and we hope to see you all 3 days.
Great. So there's a chat, and then there's also a Q&A in that right panel. So feel free, as you have questions, to add them into the Q&A, and we'll do our best to address them. So today we're covering account fundamentals and CRM. So that will include setting up your account. We'll go through calendar and QuickBooks and how to make sure you have those all set up the right way. We'll talk about online payments and settings, and then we'll get into lead management and tracking, whether you're working with leads from Houzz or from outside sources, customized lead sources, and then we'll show you how to access all the resources that we have available to you. So again, any questions, feel free just to add them in, and we will do our best to cover them.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. I was talking to Katie about what we have in store for you today, and I will make this as exciting as possible, but these are kind of the foundations and the basics to help get you started. They're super important and critical, and they definitely intertwine into the rest of the academy that we have scheduled for you this week. So let's get started with just setting up your account. So I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen with my demo account that I have. And again, I know kind of all of us are starting from different places. So how I got to this screen, I hope you're all logged in at this point, but you can just type in pro.houzz.com if you're logged in. You'll see a screen very similar to mine. We're going to spend a lot of time here in this page. Some of you may be more familiar with your profile that you have on Houzz, but this is a lot of where the software and the management of your business starts taking place. Okay. So now with kind of getting acclimated to where we are, I'm going to kick us off with going over some of these settings. So over on the left-hand side, you can see here that we have this settings toggle here. And we're going to hover over and go to business documents. Okay, so from this screen, you'll see that I've already kind of taken advantage of adding some information in here. Where this all comes into play is on your documents. So whether it be proposals that you're creating, purchase orders, etc., you want to make sure that they're looking professionally branded, right? So you can change your logo here to ensure that it's included on all of your documents that you build in Houzz Pro moving forward. You can add in some additional information if you so choose, like your license number, etc. You will see down below, this is also pulling in my address. Now it looks grayed out. This is because it can be edited on your Houzz profile. So I'm going to quickly show you how you can get there in case you see something that needs a quick edit. But if you kind of go to the bottom left corner, you'll see this go to Houzz. And then from here, I can click to edit my profile and settings. That's where my address is stored. So I'm going to go there and click on contact info.
Chloe, we don't see that pop-up window.
Oh, you don't? Okay, let me see. Let me reshare my screen for some reason. 1 second. Must be only sharing one tab. So let me sort this through here. Okay, here we go. Let's try that one more time. So if I go right here in the corner, I click go to Houzz.
Yes, perfect.
And then I'm going to go up here in the upper right, and I'm going to click edit profile and settings. And then here you'll see where I can edit my contact info, and that can be my address. Of course, that can appear on documents. We can show you later on if you want to show or hide that, but that's where you're going to want to input that information, which will again transpose over into your documents. So once I got all that set up, you also have some other toggles here at the top. So you can update like your shipping addresses, important for POs, etc., that you have those loaded in. And then there's also a toggle for accounting. So you want to make sure that you can kind of get this done from the front end. You're not doing it over and over and over again, right? So you can set some defaults here for if your products or services are taxable. There's also an option where you can have a custom invoice name. So if you want to have this kind of custom invoicing convention, they'll display at the top of all your invoices. And then separately, you can add in your tax rates down below. So again, you don't have to do that manually over and over again. So if you see something here that might need a quick little tweak, you can hit the 3 dots and hit edit or archive. You can also set defaults. And then of course you can add in a new sales tax. So you're just going to enter in the name, the rate, and then it does require an agency. So you can plug something in there like IRS as example. Okay, I'm going to pause for a minute. Did any questions come up from that, Katie?
No, no questions yet.
Okay, following along. Okay, good. All right. So from here, I'm actually going to move along and I'm going to talk about team members real quick. So I know all of us have a varying different sizes of our teams that we may have. Some of them will want to get into Houzz Pro and help us with a lot of these different processes. So if you haven't yet had your team members on Houzz, you can scroll over to this company icon over on the left-hand side. And then you'll see this option for team members right here. All right. Now up at the top, you can see here that my seats that I have. So it's all dependent upon the package that you have that you purchased with Houzz. But you can go ahead and of course invite your team members if you have some available seats, or you can add those in. And then separately, when you get them added in, it will send an invitation out to your team members. You can see I have a lot of different tests in here. But once I have them added, it's also really important to make sure that I have them seeing the things that I want them to see and them having access to the things that I want them to see. So from here, I can also adjust their permissions on whether or not I want them to, for example, manage the other team members or have access to set up my documents. If I want to, for example, have them have access to 3D floor plans, etc., all that can be adjusted here. So make sure that you have those set in the ways that you want. And you can also, of course, grant them access to specific projects once you have them created. Okay. I'm going to pause for a moment just so you guys have a little bit of time to catch up in case you're making any updates or adjustments here. But yeah, definitely important to get your team members added in. And as soon as you do, they'll get an invitation to accept that.
Chloe, there is one question from Charlotte on tax rates. Is it possible to have 2 different tax rates on the same proposal?
You know what? That's off the top of my head, I want to say no. But Charlotte, I have your contact information. I will get back to you and confirm. I don't know that one off the top of my head, but I will get an answer for you.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. All right. So we got team members set up. We got our business documents kind of set up. Now where we want to go back to is on this settings toggle here. And I want to talk a little bit about some other integrations that we have. So let's start off with going into our calendar. So settings, and under integrations, we're going to go to calendar. And then what's great about this tool is, I know maybe a lot of us in this day and age, we want to meet virtually. That's my whole world right now. So never meeting in person anymore, which is wild. But you can actually integrate with whether it be like Google Meet or Zoom. You can facilitate and have video calls where you can add and integrate these. You'll see some different buttons on your screen. I kind of have mine set up already. But once you have them integrated, you can choose kind of your like personalized booking link. So for example, if I want to have a booking link for a phone call for 30 minutes, I can include this link, and I'll show you a little later on how I'm communicating with my clients via the CRM, and I can send them a link to click on and book a time on my calendar. So it avoids that back and forth of me trying to find the time. And they never, of course, see the details of my calendar, but it allows them to easily book. So this is a great tool. You can create different meeting types. So whether they be video calls or on-site visits, etc., you'll have the option to create those, and then you can edit the settings as well. So for example, if I never work on weekends, I can toggle those off so they'll never display my availability there. I can change the default length, the description of what the meeting will be about that my clients can see. So if I want them to be better prepared, for example, hey, make sure you fill out like our pre-questionnaire before we connect at this time to make sure that we use our time most efficiently. You can do that. So lots of different options within here. And you'll even see this little toggle on the bottom. All of you, no matter what your plan is, has a Houzz profile. So sometimes when people are searching for your business online, they may stumble across your Houzz profile in addition to potentially your website. You can promote that you offer like video consultations on your Houzz profile, which is a great thing that a lot of homeowners do like having the option for. Okay, I think I saw some questions come in. So Katie, anything else?
Awesome. Is there a connection to iCal either already, or is that something we're working on?
Let's see here. Let me take a look. I'm going to play with this for a minute. So when you click on Add Integrations, there should be another box or a window that pops up that allows you to connect through Chronify, and it should be able to connect through your iCalendar. So if you're having any issues, I can show you, of course, how to get in touch with our support team, and we can follow up with you as well. But it should allow you to connect through your iCalendar to see your availability just fine. Whether it be Outlook or Gmail, etc. Any of them should be just fine.
And then Molly asked, do you have to connect your calendar in order to send a meeting invitation?
Yes. Yes. If you use it through our system with like a booking link, it needs to be able to see the availability. Yeah.
Great. And then Marco had a question back on team members. He was asking if those team member settings are about a single client or for all of your projects.
Yeah. So back on those team member settings, let's go back there really quick so we can show you a visual here. So if I go back into those team member settings, I'm going to be setting them overall. So these would be for all projects or leads moving forward, that these are the settings for all of them, but then I can limit which projects they have access to. So hopefully that helps answer that question.
Great. And then Lindsay asked if she can add a Google form questionnaire.
Yeah, actually, you can. You could do that. So I know Google Forms, it can generate like its own link. So you could embed that, for example, if you're thinking maybe in your calendar and you set out that meeting link and you want to put in the description, you can absolutely do that with a Google link. I'll also show you, though, once we get to our CRM section, the questionnaire that we have built in-house, if you'd like to use that as an option too.
Okay, great.
Cool. Okay, so keep the questions coming in, guys. We'll try to get to them as many as we can. So thanks, Katie, for moderating. I know there's a lot coming through. And if you're having any trouble with audio, by the way, I see a couple people mentioning that. Try to leave and come back. And just make sure that volume is turned up all the way on your screen. Okay, so next I want to cover going over QuickBooks. So QuickBooks is a great, amazing tool, right, that I'm sure a lot of our designers are using already, but hopefully many of you are already integrated. And if you're not, it can help you from not having to manually track things on the side and importing your proposals, your invoices, plus your expenses on purchase orders. So this does integrate with QuickBooks Online. So you'll see that over again underneath this integration section. When you set it up, it's very clear on the steps you need to take to ensure that it's integrated and working successfully. Once you connect your accounts, or regardless, all of you have access, if you haven't taken advantage of it, of talking to our in-house accounting integration experts. So you have free access to them for 30 days where they're here to help answer any questions from you or your bookkeeper. I'll show you how to get in touch with them towards the end, or you might even see a prompt on your screen after you connect if you haven't yet done that yet. But it is a great tool that we've been working really closely with a lot of major bookkeeping partners to ensure it's super seamless, super clean, and works as it should. So you can definitely have every confidence that that integration is working really well for our designers right now. Okay. All right. So moving right along here, another thing that I want to talk about settings-wise, super exciting stuff, is online payments. So, oh, Danielle, I see your question that you have here. Any level of QuickBooks Online will work, but we do recommend QuickBooks Plus because that will allow you to integrate with your POs as well. So that's the one that we do recommend, QBO Plus or higher. Okay. So going over into settings, one other place I want to take you to is your online payments. So I'm sure many of you are already accepting online payments, which is great. And if you're not, we absolutely have the option for you within Houzz. So you'll see on your screen, if you haven't yet connected your bank account, you'll see a black Get Started button, and it's going to walk you through the prompts to connect your account, whether it be a personal account or a business account. And it will go through some different questions to verify basically your identity. The wonderful thing about our online payments through Houzz Pro is we've been working really, really hard with our partner Stripe on giving even more opportunities to get your money faster. So we have faster turnaround times than ever before. We also recently launched instant payouts. So if you need your money like right now, there's an option to get your money in as little as 30 minutes. So you'll see different prompts for that once you integrate and you have a payment waiting for you. That you can actually choose to have instant payouts, and that would be a 1% fee that would happen for those instant payouts. And then separately on your documents, which we'll get into more tomorrow, but just so you understand kind of the fee structure and how it works, it's 3.5 for credit cards and about 1% for ACH. And there's a lot of different options here where you can kind of bake in your fees so you can offset them to the client, of course, so you're not eating those expenses. And we also have some best practices on it, embedding them into your markup. So there's lots of different ways to just kind of build them into your documents really seamlessly. So there shouldn't be any pushback about the fees from your client either when paying online. So those are some great options for you. So make sure you take a look at that and get those set up because it'll definitely come in handy. Okay. So Britt, I see your question. So depending on your local state, if you need to clearly identify it on the documents, which again, we'll get into more tomorrow, you can choose if it says like convenience fee or transaction fee. So it's very clear. And of course, again, you guys always have the options if you want to offset them or you don't. So that's completely up to you. So let me show you really quick on online payments. Let me see. Once you get into setting up your online payments, I'm trying to remember where I have this little button. Let me look here. Online payments. Okay. So when I have this set up, it's because mine's not connected yet, but you should see an option basically to do this for every project moving forward, where you can have the settings that you'll always accept ACH or you'll always accept credit card, or you can choose to set that by project. So you'll have either option. Okay. All right. Okay, so moving right along here, just checking if we have any questions. Kathleen, I see your call out on iCal. That definitely should be there. So I'll follow up on that one for the calendar piece. It should be there. So I'll double check on that one for you. Okay, and then
we'll keep going.
Any other questions, Katie, that you saw?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Okay, good. All right. So settings. I know it's super exciting, really riveting content here. But next, I'm going to go over into, now that we kind of got all that set up, I do want to point out a couple things that are just going to better prepare you for tomorrow's session if you plan on attending. So you'll also see under this settings toggle here some integrations. I'm sure many of you are big adopters of our Clipper tool. If you have not yet downloaded that, you can get a quick link to this in the Google Chrome store. I would recommend you download that in advance of tomorrow's session because it's definitely going to show you how to better build your documents. You can clip products and source them online, curate your own library. So make sure you just take a quick minute and download that Chrome extension because it will help set you up for success for tomorrow. Okay. All right, let's go into next. One other thing that I'll point out, because we do get some questions on this from time to time on our support teams, is how and why do I get notified of certain things? So under settings, you can also go to notifications. It's important to just take a double check here on what you want to get notified for. Your team members will also have the option for this. So if, for example, you get overloaded with emails, you can choose to not do them instantly and just give you a digest for the day. So it's just one email. And some of these you can also enable for mobile pushes if you have the app downloaded as well. So just one other thing that I would mention to take a look at. Okay, let's talk about our CRM and make sure everyone kind of feels good with this piece. So if you don't know what a CRM is, it stands for a client relationship management tool. And the reason why we built this in Houzz is these tools alone can be incredibly expensive, but we also know it's so important when you're kind of curating your pipeline and you're getting inquiries from all over the place that you're staying really organized as opposed to living out of your inbox. Because if that's the case of what you're doing now, you're probably missing out on some opportunities that are there. Because I know from being in like customer service and sales, you have to follow up, you have to have a process. These homeowners can be very, very busy. So they're relying on having that great experience, even from the beginning, before their project even starts. So on the lead section within Houzz, where it starts is, of course, ingesting in your leads and getting them in here if you'd like to utilize this tool. So you might already see a couple in there, especially if you're on our marketing program on Houzz and that's the subscription that you have. But otherwise, you can ingest your leads by clicking Add Leads. You can create a new lead just to kind of do it more manually and fill in some of this information. Or, of course, more commonly, you can import it from a file. So when I import it from a file, it will tell me here that all the important information that I would need to make sure that I can load them in correctly. There is a template right up at the top that you're going to want to download and ensure that it's kind of completed in the right format. And then once you have that CSV file saved, that's when you can import it back in here by, of course, dragging and dropping and loading it right here. And then it will funnel into the CRM and you'll see all your leads. Okay. So from here, there's also another option that's importing from email. I wouldn't really recommend this one, but just to call out, because I'm sure you saw it on the screen, I'd probably utilize the first two more commonly. This one's a little bit limited on what email you're importing it from. So definitely best to do it from the file or creating a new lead one by one. And then from here, you can see that as I have all my leads in here, I can also keep them organized by marking what stages they're in. So we're kind of just getting started on the CRM. A lot of things are going to be coming here really soon that we have planned, but it's a great way to stay organized with how many proposals have I sent? Who have I connected with? Who do I still need to follow up with, etc. I can also easily see like the lead source. So whether they came from Houzz or somewhere else, the potential profit or revenue that I expect to make, etc. And then I can filter this down. So if I have a really long list and I need to get this a little bit more organized, I have some filters, and I can also filter by looking over on the left and only seeing my new leads at a glance or who I need to follow up with again. So it just helps me stay more organized all in one place. And then I'm going to click on a lead and just kind of show you a bit more information here. So once I click on a lead, you'll see all this different information up at the top that I have access to that may help me better close this lead as an example. So whether it be, for example, that I want to send them my meeting link and get that book, like what we just talked about, or I want to utilize the Houzz questionnaire. I can click View and Edit Questionnaire, and this will allow me to make some adjustments here where I can edit the form and do a couple things that make it look a little bit more appealing. So this is just kind of a basic template to get you started. But like I said, if you have something, you can use that too, that you already have in existence, totally fine. But if I go back, let me go back to that lead real quick. Like I said, there's a lot of different options here up at the top. So if I want to start with just going over my messages, I can from here use some of our quick reply templates if I wanted. So for example, I got this lead. I'm looking at designing my new home in San Francisco. Okay, so I'm going to just click, I'd like to talk to you further. When's a good time to call you? So there's some quick reply templates. I'll be candid that I don't think these are the best way to sell yourself as a business. So it's great to customize these, make them unique to you. So if I click again on templates in the messaging center and I click customize, I can create a new one and I can kind of be a little bit more robust, like sell myself on who I am, why they want to work with me, that I already tried to call you. I'm going to try to call you again in a couple hours, etc. So it's a really nice thing to utilize. There's also some rich text options here, ways to hyperlink. And there's also some smart text. So for example, if I use a token like client name, it will automatically replace that every time I use that template. So I don't have to commonly like back something out and say, hi, Chloe, hi, Katie. It will do it automatically. And as you can see here, there's a couple different tokens that you can choose from when you're creating your own templates. Okay. All right, I'm going to pause. Any questions, Katie?
Yes, we do have a few questions. Kathleen was wondering how you can export your lead and client data.
Yeah, so the best way to do that right now, let me go in. So specifically on leads, if you go in, you should be able to print off your leads. It is one by one though. So there's not a way to like bulk download them out that I'm aware of. I don't know if you're aware of any way to do that, Katie.
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah, so I think that your best bet here would be to like click in and look at your overall like message history. And then from here, you'll see the little option where you can like, I'd probably click file and print, and then you can download and save that as like a PDF as an example.
Okay. Great, Kathleen, hopefully that helps you. Is there a way to customize your lead stages?
Not yet, but I am aware that there's a lot of things that are on the roadmap that are coming. So the stages that we have there right now, they're kind of stagnant. But when you are in here, let me go back. And let me look at them overall so we can see it at a glance. Once you start filling in, so these stages, like I said, these are kind of stagnant. There's nothing that you can add as like a custom option here. But when you're seeing them at a glance, the other things that you can add in is more like the project type, the lead source, revenue and profit, etc. Okay. All right. Yep.
There were a few questions back on online payments, but I think we can get to that at the end. You can keep going.
Okay, we can circle back for sure. Okay. So on this like message history back and forth with my prospective clients, so we talked about creating templates, making it easy to fire these out so I don't have to keep writing things over and over and over again. There's also a way here where I can send SMS messages. So rather than pulling up my phone, grabbing their phone number, typing it in, if your client has enabled texting, you can also send them a text to their phone from here. Like I said, there's lots of different options for formatting down at the bottom as well. And then before you send your message, you also have an option to preview it. So there's a default, and then there's a, I'll kind of make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. So this is what the default looks like. You can see what it looks like on the desktop or if they open it on their mobile device. There's a clean one that doesn't have those same pictures. So it's just basically text. And then lastly, there's a branded one. So if you want to have it a little bit more branded, this pulls from my profile of the cover photos that I have. So I could also change that out. So those are some other options just to make it a little bit more nice and maybe represent your brand a little bit better. Separately over on the right-hand side, you'll see all the client details and information where, like I mentioned, you can edit. So if you wanted to change here, anything that you might need to adjust for like profit or revenue or description, etc., you can change all that information on the lead stage over here by clicking edit. And then let's see what else we got. We have lead owners and lead managers. So depending on how you and your team stay organized, you can assign leads to different team members, and then you can assign a lead manager overall. They work kind of similarly, but it's just another option for some of our professionals who want to have both. So all that is in there for you to be able to see all of your messaging history. Over on the left, I'll also show that perhaps as you're prospecting or your team is prospecting these leads and trying to follow up and close them, or they're taking notes, those can also all be done in the CRM. So you can take notes here. You can say what happened on the call. You can view all the entries, or you can sort it by notes versus calls, create a new one. So all that is there. Separately, like if you go out to a project and you need to take pictures and you need to refer back to them before they convert over to actually sending them a proposal, you have a great way to have unlimited cloud storage and upload files that are attached to a lead, so you'll be able to reference those. You can also create folders to stay organized and put different images underneath, and it accepts basically all file types. So whether it be videos or photos or PDFs, you name it, it can be in here. And then once you have documents in there as well, you can also copy and move them to other projects if you so choose, or other leads if you commonly use the same documents. The other options that I'll point out here are takeoffs. So I'm not going to touch on this too deeply, but if you want to explore it, I'm going to show you how we have some resources, of course, that can help give you a jump start. But takeoffs, not as common for our design community, but if you do any construction and you have access to plans like from an architect, a takeoff allows you to like click, drag, and drop with your mouse to take measurements, whether it be area or lengths or heights, etc. So that could be an option for some of you to explore. I'm not going to dive in too deeply to that, but there's also a quick create button for proposals and converting to a project. So lots of different options in there. Okay, under more actions, you'll also find that print button. You can snooze. So if someone says, for example, like, hey, I know I said I was ready to go and move forward, but I really can't until maybe you could follow up with me. You can snooze a lead and it will pop back up into your inbox to remind you. So it allows you to, again, stay extremely organized, really impress that potential client with your follow through. So you can choose like a custom date or to follow up in 3 months, etc. And then you could archive or delete leads as well. Catherine, I see your question on how you copy documents over. Let me see if I can just grab a random screenshot here. And then once I have it, you can see that I can move this to another folder if I had one created, or I can also duplicate it and allow me to move it that way. And then I see a question about uploading a CAD plan. There really shouldn't be any limits on like the file type, but if you're running into a problem, I would recommend maybe saving it as like a PDF or a different file type to upload it. But size shouldn't be an issue. Okay. All right, any other questions coming in?
Yes, we do have a few questions. Let's see. Can you show back when you're communicating with a lead how you can create your own template to save there in the messages?
Yeah. So if I go to leads one more time, and I'm just going to click into one. And then as I'm kind of seeing this message history here, I'll see this template option, and then I can click to customize templates. And then from there, you can click create new. You can name it and then put in all of your body of what you'd like to have there.
A few questions from Lindsay. Does the client see the folders?
So if you share access with them, that's completely up to you. So you can actually set different permissions on here if you would like to share it. And actually, you know what? It needs to be converted to a project in order for you to share these files. So no, they will not see anything within the lead stage, but once you convert it to a project, you'll have access to unlock a client dashboard, and then you can publish it to the dashboard for them to see the files.
Awesome. Is there a way to create a file structure that will repeat when you add new leads automatically? Basically, you could have that same file structure.
Not yet, but that's great feedback. We have a whole team that's now like dedicated this quarter to really improving our CRM functionality. So we'll make sure to pass that along. Not yet, but I could definitely see that being in the plans in the future.
Awesome. Can you show how you can change the photo from your profile that will show up on the messages?
Yeah. Okay, let me go back. So in the bottom left corner, I'm going to click that go to Houzz again. And then from here, I'm just going to click on my icon in the upper right. I'm not going to click any of the drop downs. And then from here, it should pull from your slideshow. So you want to click edit slideshow. And then from here, if you have projects loaded, you can add those in here, or you can click to upload photos manually. Otherwise, it will just default to that one that you saw when I showed you that branded preview. Cool.
Okay. Great. Let me just look for a moment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, no, I think we're good for now.
Okay. So a couple of the things that I'll point out, because we kind of breezed through a lot of this really great information. What I want to show you next is a couple just other like extra things that aren't going to necessarily be in our future sessions, but are very, very popular. Back on Houzz Pro, under this company tab, there is an option to build a website. If some of you are, I don't know, using a different type of solution right now, whether it be Wix or Squarespace, or you're paying someone to build your website for you, a lot of you actually have access to build a website yourself with our editor. Or what you could also do is, depending on your subscription level, you have access to a website designer. So like if this is something you're really interested in to help save you a little extra expenses or get some help kind of closing this loop of the puzzle on your business, this is also something that we have within Houzz that you can absolutely take and run with. We have really, really incredible websites that our team of designers have built, as well as our pros. But you'll see here, once you kind of toggle to that option, you might see an option to basically have a designer get in touch with you by completing a form and telling them the options that you would like to see in your website. Or you'll see more of a screen like mine of like a do-it-yourself type thing. You can connect to a custom domain. So it could be like chloedesigns.com. But it's a really, really great tool if you're having trouble keeping your website up to date. It's mobile friendly, it's SEO friendly. And so it's another just great little thing that you have included in many of the subscriptions. The other thing that I'll point out is, I think for all of us, it's important to know how to get help when we need it, right? So you guys are doing a great job coming over here and, you know, getting some good education. But if you are running into questions, I do want to point out the resources that we have for you too. And if you haven't yet taken advantage of them, we really do have an amazing team that's here to help. So in the bottom right corner of my screen, the first thing that I'll point out is our chat. So I can click on this little button, and then I can actually click into send us a message. So you'll see here that our team is really fast. We try to connect as quickly as we can. So once I hit to connect with our team, I'm talking to live people who are experts in our software who can definitely get me to the right place. So if you have some questions after today, they are a great resource for you. Which is a chat option. So the hours of chat are Monday through Friday, and they are from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. So a great way to get in touch with us that way. But you also have more options underneath this little question mark over on the left. So I think Katie, she mentioned we have a lot of resources, and that is absolutely true. So underneath that question mark, you can find our help center, some quick like get started guides, all different things that you can access very easily within our help center for tutorials. So if, for example, I'm running into questions on markup, that I need a tutorial on how to do that, I can see all the different options down beneath that can give me and guide me to maybe finding the solution on my own. Also within that question mark though, we have many video tutorials, webinars like the one that you're in today. You'll see our phone number, which we have actually even longer hours than what I described over chat. We're open as early as 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you prefer to just get on the phone and call us, that number is there. And if you have a dedicated rep, so some of you may have like a dedicated onboarding specialist if you're brand new to the program, or a client success manager, you'll see their contact information as well underneath that question mark with their email and an ability to book a call. So lots of different ways to get help.
Molly just gave a nice shout out to our chat feature.
Oh, good. I'm so glad that you've been utilizing it. Yes, they're always really, really busy on there. But it's really helpful. So like if you need to send screenshots or videos to kind of show what you're describing or what you need help with, they can do the same thing and reciprocate. So yeah, utilize that chat feature if you guys haven't done it. They are super, super helpful. They know a lot more than I do. So.
We have a few questions on the website. So Heather asked, if you build a website with Houzz, what is their level of permissions?
I might need to I guess, more clarity on what you're looking for there, but I can kind of maybe guess. So as far as permissions, you would have permissions to edit anything on there. So whether it be like pictures or content or adding new pages or sub pages, like you can control all of that. If you happen to have access to a website designer to facilitate that consultation, they'll meet with you over Zoom based off that questionnaire that you complete. And then from that, they'll be able to glean any like updates or changes that you want to make, and they'll do it live with you. So hopefully that helps answer your question. But if I didn't, please feel free to elaborate, and I'll make sure to give you more content.
Okay, great. Let's see. Christina asked if we already covered the QuickBooks integration. Yes, we did, but we'll be sending out this recording, and you can maybe just show quickly right there.
Yeah, so settings, QuickBooks, and it will walk you through step by step on how to do that. I'll also mention we recently hosted a webinar with one of our major accounting partners, Logistis. So if you want to kind of hear from them some best practices on like integrating and setting up your QuickBooks account for success, you can actually find it under that question mark and going under webinars. You would be able to find it there if you missed any of our content that we previously hosted.
Yes. Chloe, do you have access to an account that does have online payments set up? It might be good to show. If not, I have one that I could share.
I think I do. Yeah, let me log into that real quick. And one sec.
Okay, great. While Chloe's getting in there, I have another poll I can launch. So feel free to reply to that as well. About which of the features in Houzz Pro you would like more training on, because we are doing a lot of deep dive webinars. Hopefully some of you have joined. We recently did one on the 3D floor planner. We have one coming up on selections, but we're always looking for opportunities and ideas for where we can add some more trainings there. So please let us know.
Yes. Okay. I'm getting into my bank account now, or my banking information. Okay, let's see. Let me share my screen again. Okay. So how I got here, I'm in a different account now, but I basically clicked on settings, online payments. So this one has it all set up for me right now. So you can see that I have it marked with offsetting the processing fee to the client. I have my terminology as transaction fee instead of convenience fee. This is what shows up as far as like when my client pays me online, what appears on their bank statement. Reminders on what the fees are, and my settings on if I have it set to always for accepting both types. But let me know if there's any questions. I know you mentioned, Katie, that there was a couple on online payment. So if I need to pause or go over anything, let me know.
Yeah, is it, Alana was asking basically how you can change it at the project level. Your
yes.
Settings.
Yeah, so if you go into a project, so I'm going to go into one of mine, and then I'm going to click on the little pencil icon. And then from here, I can see what I have it set to. So it's set to always, never. So I can change these, and then I can uncheck the offset the processing fee if I want to on the project level alone. So if, for example, like you have settings in your project right now, but then you go and you change them overall today, you're going to want to go back into your projects and adjust them, because they're not going to flip all your projects without you giving like the permission to do so. So if you need to change them one-off for existing projects, you'd go under each one individually and click that pencil icon. And then if you scroll down, you'll see the online payment method details.
Awesome. Okay. Alana, hopefully that helps. And then I'm just adding into the chat some links to the past webinars that we've held. So you can always go through and watch those as well.
Yes.
And then let's see any other questions. Alana asked a question. I know we've heard this before too. If there's a way to allow a client to pay through Houzz but remove that QR code that shows up.
Yeah, not yet. Definitely hear the feedback. We'll pass that along. I know that we were hoping to have that there for ease, but I know if you want your documents to look a certain way, you might want to hide that. So not yet, but Katie and I will definitely pass that along, and we'll raise if there's an option to get that toggled off for you guys.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, get your last questions in there. But again, as a reminder, what our agenda looks like for the rest of the time that we have our academy set up over the next 2 days is tomorrow we're spending a lot of time on documents. So proposals, invoices, purchase orders, best practices on all of those on just like the project management side. And then day 3 is going to consist of more of like our 3D tools, our schedule feature, some of the little overviews of our reporting, etc. So if you haven't registered for those, you're going to be better prepared for what's in store. That's what you can look forward to.
Great. There was another question about whether you can send emails to more than one person at a time.
Yep. Let me go back in here real quick. There is a CC button. All right, so if I'm back in this messaging section, I can type in the email address, but then you'll also see a CC to add other recipients. So yes, you can send to more than one.
Okay, perfect. Okay, great. It looks like we're done for now then. Again, we have tomorrow, we have Thursday, so hopefully you can join us. Any other questions, bring them then. And Krista asked if we'll be going over selections boards. Yes, that is on the agenda, I believe, for Thursday.
Yes, yes. Cool.
Okay.
Well, thank you all so much for coming. I know we're going to get this reporting out to you guys in about a week or so. So hang tight. We'll get it out to you. And then hopefully you can share it with your team, and there's some good best practices that come from it. But otherwise, if you have questions, make sure to use that chat button or get in touch with our team on the phone over that question mark that I pointed out to you guys on the left-hand side.